Hello, I have a beautiful surprise for you. There is a printable that's available right now. I've already filled mine in with the first part of this video. So, the first part I'm going to share on YouTube without the introductions and all the little extra tidbits. But for you, I'm going to add part one and two. And with it, you can follow along and play along as we create in our sketchbooks these freestyle patterns. Now, I'm going to talk about these ones I've already created, these ones. We are going to do these two, upside down. We're going to do these two together. And then I'm going to take you on an adventure for part two as we draw and color in this circle. I nearly forgot what we were drawing. So these patterns can be loosely developed in the beginning, especially when you're warming up, and then further developed. You can pick out areas that you love and recreate them. You can adjust them a little bit. Now, we are not going to copy and trace and reflect in today's video. We are going to do that at the end of the week. And for now, you can just pack out that glitter pens and bring along your compass, pencil, and a little bit of time so that we can play and develop these freestyle patterns and also make time for our creative practices. I hope that today's mindful video was there for you in a time when you needed some guidance, some playfulness, and of course, a tutorial. So, before we start part two, what a pity that the wind was blowing so profusely outside and that we couldn't play in the sunlight. But there will be plenty of opportunities to go outside with your sketchbook whenever you have the opportunity. Why not take your sketchbook outside? You can pick a flower or two and maybe use some of those petal shapes to create a repeat pattern around the circles that you are drawing in your sketchbook. And remember, you can use any of these freestyle mindful patterns in your designs or in your sketchbooks or just part of your daily practice. And they are especially helpful if you are struggling to draw, because with a little bit of measurement, of course, and repeating the same patterns, we can create beautiful things without that much effort. And you also don't need a reference. You could, of course, use a reference, but you can predominantly use your imagination to build out the circles as we explore these freestyle patterns. All right, let's get to part two and create a larger circle from the shapes and elements we already practiced or something new that you might want to try. So first we are going to draw out consecutive circles with that exact same center point, and every time radiating outwards with a little bit of a space. It doesn't have to be exact as long as there are thinner spacings and wider spacings to create and follow along, or just develop your own thing for in each of these consecutive circles. Don't make it too difficult, just a couple, maybe 7 or 8. Next, I'm making my compass smaller so that it can fit into that very first circle. If I'm guessing here, I think that might be 3 centimeters. And I'm drawing the 6 consecutive circles on the edge of that first inner circle, thereby creating that seed of life pattern or the flower of life's seed. Now you can clearly see that little petal-like thing forming in the very center, and that is called the germ of life. In other words, the beginning of that seed that then becomes the flower, that then becomes the fruit, and so on and so on. With your ruler, you are going to connect points. Now, the first crossing point is from those crossing circles as they move through the center of the flower. Every time we make a straight line for this session, we are going to go through the center. So this could literally be the short sides, and in a minute you'll see that I'm going to fill in that center as well, as I did that one line and then just had to repeat the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're going to skip that later. You can erase or remove it, or just paint a darker color over there so that you can't see those pencil marks. Now, next, I'm going to go from those crossing points on the outer edge of the circle, thereby creating 12 equal divisions of this circle. And if you've ever wondered how to get to the 12 divisions of a circle, it's from this seed of life initial drawing. It's the easiest and most accurate way to get a perfect 12 division. What you see me doing there is I'm setting the point, aligning the ruler, and then drawing my line. Now on the inside, I am going to draw petals. They will be formed by that shape inside where the circles have crossed, and it forms naturally as outer petals. And I'm just going to outline them a little bit clearer as part of my first repeat pattern. You could say I was drawing 6 petals, and you can draw 6 petals too. For this next part, I'm going to draw a larger petal. So this one's going to stretch over 2 spaces, and it's going to have a little bit of a kink or a wave, like a bracket. It takes just a little bit of concentration to get this shape right. And in my mind, I tell myself it's up, curve, up, curve, up, curve, up, curve, up. In this part, I'm doing loops. They will go from the center outwards and from the outer edge inwards. Any way will be fine as long as there are 3 on either side of the center line. And you'll see they are reaching right up to the tip of the edge of that little circle that is between the 2 layers of petals. Really easy shape to make, but it has a very pleasing look to it once it is done. Now I'm just going to create a double wall here. In other words, repeating that exact same line I did before to sort of solidify that shape. Now here I'm filling in between those loopy loops and that first layer of the petal. It's merely a bunch of lines. I'm trying to evenly space them. It's not to say that they're going to end up that way, but I am sort of getting a hatching effect. And that's just a lovely filler between smaller spaces to accentuate some of the other shapes. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be tightly fitted in there. It's just a natural flowy motion formed by a line. For this round, I'm going to create little bunny hops. That's what we used to teach our children when they started learning how to draw or write. And it's another simple shape as long as it stays on the same line. I'm not counting here, but it looks like there's about 5 to 6 of these little bunny hops in each petal, and I'm going to line it in or solidify it in and then create triangle segments in here, almost like the center of an orange. Now this large petal will stretch over 2 spaces and 3 lines. You can make it bigger or smaller. I'm just following my flower pattern here and creating as I'm going. On the inside, I'm adding some circles to decorate the petal, not necessarily counting. I'm just creating circles as my hand guides me at this stage, not fussing about the results or being too pedantic about how many circles are exactly in each pattern. Just easy, free flowing, and mindful. We're not after perfection, remember. We are after practice. We are discovering this pattern as we go and thinking up new ways of making marks around each of those shapes. Now I'm going to enclose those circles with more of those bunny hops, or shall I say monkey swings, as I go underneath each of the circles to enclose them into that petal shape. Not sure what I'm going to do with the rest of that blank area, but maybe I'll just leave it. Who knows? It might be filled with a beautiful color. And I'm already thinking blues and greens to sort of complement what I've done on the other side. I might even add more layers on the outer edge. Who knows? More doodles or more practices? Or how about just another session if I have 5 or 6 or 7 minutes? You see, these little practices can be very easy. We don't have to make them hard and we don't have to make them long-winded. And if you feel stuck, the best thing to do is to go back and do what you were doing before, or go for a walk, take a stroll in the park, go do some shopping, and then come back and focus on your work. And the minute you feel a little bit more stressed or worried about something, or you just don't know how to figure something out, a small 5 to 10 minute break will be enough to calm your mind down so that you can solve that problem. Even here, this that I'm doing now, I came back for some other time during this very same day. Now, you might not believe me right now, but everything on this double spread was done in 24 hours. I was going through work where I had to upload something and then I had to stop and then I had to wait. And in that whole process, I figured that I could sit down with my sketchbook and keep my mind occupied with something creative instead of wandering off to whatever horrors my brain could think up of, and thereby calming my mind so that I can stay focused on the task at hand and get this video out to you as soon as possible. So we're nearing our drawing end, and maybe a mark or two here in the middle, or a line connecting the inner petal. whatever you want to do is fine. I'm just going to draw additional lines here that I might color in differently, or I might color all the same and then outline them later. Now, whatever medium you want to use is up to you. I'm going to erase some of these very harsh pencil lines, and I'm going to use these glitter markers that I bought from Target. While we select our colors and add the colors, we're also going to listen to some music so that the mind can completely relax and you can become 100% absorbed in this creative process. It is time now to come out of this deep slumber and bring your mind back into the room, back into consciousness, and back into focus so that we can finalize this medallion and the repeat patterns around it with the beautiful colors we've created, just in time to see what we completed on this page later this evening. But first, let me congratulate you on taking some time to ease your mind, learn a micro skill, and bring your attention to something new that you haven't created before. The next pattern and design you attempt can be more elaborate, more creative, with more layers and different colors. All that matters today is that you made some time to relax. And what you'll bring forth after this practice can only be better, can only be improved upon. And if this is the foundation for what is to come, then there are beautiful elements you can reflect on. It is time for me to go visit my friend on the farm. And then I'll come back and show you that part so that we can link it into this video and discover what I did in one day. Now, it doesn't have to be a full double spread, but when you have time, add to your page. Pause the video at strategic spots and keep an eye out for anything that could inspire the next round around your pattern, and create freestyle. Don't be afraid to explore and join us at the end of this week when we do the reflection class and video so that you can follow along on how I take one element and reflect it many times around a circle until we have a different type of pattern. Also done in a different, more formal way. If you want to use that type of thing, then that is something beautiful to look forward to. So before bed, I decided to draw 3 huge circles and add in little details here and there. It's majorly simplified and just enough to ease me into bedtime. And I'm going to use some reddish pinkish colors with this gold to complement the other side of the page. So I have this double spread with things that look like they belong together, even though each and every one of them are different. Now, I'm not going to bore you with more tutorial type things. I'm going to put on another quick song and let you watch as I fill in the pattern or give you some time to do a similar thing in your sketchbook. All right. I'm not going to keep you for much longer. Have a wonderful, wonderful week and enjoy your sketchbooks and enjoy your mindful practices and make time to slow down, calm down, and become free, free to express yourself.